In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
That's right. Listen to Warhorse. You are listening to the Raw and Order Wrestling Podcast, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that went live like 15 minutes late today because we were, BSing off screen and it was funny. Anyways, I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime fighting, District Attorney Vince Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
We went late because Easter, for me at least.
Yeah, I got you. I was chasing around a 4-year-old way too much this weekend, so
that's fun times.
Yeah, my own 4-year-old, just
not somebody else's.
For the record, just my own. She was hopped up on Easter candy.
Fun times.
Anyways,
Candy.
Yeah, it's like what did someone call it? Easter is just like sunny Halloween,
Yeah.
To go out at night and dress up spooky, you just go out dressed up all nice, and they give you candy.
Wake
in
up
the
in
form
the
of like eggs that you pick up off the floor, which I don't know. That really seems like it's sending a bad message about food safety, but
just pick up food and open it and see whatever's in there. Just eat it.
Yeah, if you find food on the floor, as long as it's in a candy shell, just eat it. Okay.
I think that's brilliant. There is one reason alone that I love Easter candy, and it is the Cadbury caramel egg.
My wife loves those.
Yes.
I'm a traditional Cadbury egg guy, but it's like one of those things where every Easter I eat so many of them, I get sick of them for 11 months.
About a year, yeah.
Which is fine. I'm like, cream eggs, and then I'm like, oh, no more cream eggs.
They do make Cadbury cream pumpkins now.
I haven't seen those.
The cream being green.
I have not seen those. I don't know if I'm ready for it come October yet. So we'll find out.
No, that's for June.
For June? That's interesting.
Cadbury cream dads in June.
Yeah, we had some good wrestling this week, especially this weekend, right? Battle of the Belts 2, and the New Japan show.
Yeah.
And not to mention Rampage on Friday, SmackDown on Friday, and the stuff on Wednesday and Monday and yada yada yada. So it was a good week all in all. Before we get into talking about all the wrestling, though, I'd always take this time to remind people that Raw and Order is part of the Tatnus Co. Podcast Network. So after the show's over, head on down to the doobly-doos. You're going to find links to tatnusco.com. Click that link and check out all the other shows on the network there. But yeah, let's get into talking about this week in wrestling. Big news, Samoa Joe beating Minoru Suzuki to become the Ring of Honor television champion on Dynamite, which is...
Wait, I'm ready for ROH to get their own product.
Yeah, we need... now, Tony Khan has an announcement this week on Wednesday. He made the announcement that there will be an announcement. Which is always funny for him to do, but anyways. And there's reports that it could be some news on Ring of Honor, sort of whether it's a television or at least a plan for it. I don't think any of the rumors suggest that it's a signing, which is fine. We don't need any. I'm not saying we can't have more signings, but we don't need any right now.
We always need more signings.
Yeah, like, you know, if Johnny Gargano decided he wanted to sign, you sign him. If Mia Yim or Athena decided they were ready to sign, you sign them, sort of thing. I'm not saying not, but we're not in that place for AEW where I'm like, oh, we really need to pick up this person so much. But a streaming service of some sort would be nice to find out about. The other rumor that it could be, this is the hot rumor that kind of started making rounds on Friday, is that they're getting ready to announce a joint show, an AEW New Japan show, theoretically in Chicago for this summer. And that might be his big announcement, which would be a big deal. I think I was talking on the show a couple months ago about a joint show. I was hoping it'd be a bit more than just a 2-promotion show, but 2 promotions better than just one. So
none, yeah.
So
well, it could give us more of things like we saw this weekend at New Japan Pro.
Yep.
When John Moxley beat Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm. It looked like a fire match. I didn't get to see it all, but...
And then he challenged Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm. He said, Tanahashi, if you don't show up at whatever the next one is...
I'll drag you here by your ponytail.
Yeah. It's your last chance, sort of thing. We got a really cool match on Dynamite with Keith Lee and Swerve versus Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. That really showed Swerve and Keith Lee kind of hitting their stride together and being kind of a cohesive team. And that was a ton of fun. We had the first ever AEW countout victory, or more specifically, countout loss. Sean Dean now holds the first DQ victory over MJF and the first countout victory over MJF. I think that's funny. I am absolutely loving what they're doing with Wardlow. They're playing the Wardlow angle exactly how I would have had them play it. So it makes me happy. Wardlow just showing up and wrecking things and causing havoc. Penta versus CM Punk was tons of fun. Probably, to be perfectly honest, the weakest match of Dynamite was Marina Shafir versus Sky Blue.
And that was still a good match.
It was a good match, but I don't think...
I like the story it started to tell.
I know. I think it's a styles clash that happened there. I just don't think their styles matched very well. But it's setting up
Shafir versus
Jade Cargill. That's really all it's doing. So,
I actually, I kind of enjoyed that Mace didn't have to have a mask on this week. In fact, he's not even Mace anymore. I don't like the idea that LA Knight is maybe just a manager. Maybe he's gonna wrestle.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not what you'd call an LA Knight fan. Like,
well, his mic skills aren't the worst,
but his mic skills are good, and if you're gonna use someone as a manager, you might as well use him. And so that's gonna be something there. Dynamite wasn't horrible, you had the Cody Rhodes, not Dynamite, excuse me, Raw wasn't horrible. You had Cody Rhodes versus MJF, and just setting up more on that, and more leading up to the Cody versus Seth Rollins rematch that's coming up at WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, good stuff.
So that's going to be good stuff. I do think it's important to note, to all the people who were saying that WWE is just not going to treat Cody right when he comes back. They're just,
so
he's
far
just
so
be
good.
Lost in the shuffle. So far so good, but I want to point out that right now they're running advertisements on Fox to advertise both their shows, and the graphic has Cody on one side with the Raw show and Roman Reigns on the other side with the SmackDown logo. I mean, they're promoting him as their top guy on Raw. So
And how does that change up? How does that change up the title picture? Well, so we know that Roman's most likely to lose the Raw title fairly soon. So we pull Roman out of that mix. But we still have Bobby Lashley, potentially Brock Lesnar coming back, for sure Seth Rollins. So there's at least 3 title contenders there. And realistically, on top of the Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Cody part, we also have Big E when he comes back from injury. We have Kofi.
I'm finding
we
wood
have
real quick. Hold on. Okay.
The Miz. You what?
I was finding some wood to knock for Big E because
hopefully he comes back, like I said. Yeah. The Miz. I mean, these are all title contenders. So if the storyline writing plays into it, it could get really good.
Well, and
there's your
and here's I'm gonna with Big E, although Big E officially got moved to SmackDown prior to the injury, that it's fine. They've got people that they can work their way back up into the main card. You mentioned Seth Rollins and all of those, but Randy Orton could always be put back into the
truth be told, Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle could be put in.
Might be on the cusp.
Kevin Owens can be thrown up in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Finn Balor could be put there. Dolph Ziggler
they have
really could be back in there.
Wonderful mix.
And frankly, Edge and Damian Priest.
Are they Raw?
They're Raw. So.
Okay. In fact, it makes you go, is it just Drew and Roman on SmackDown? I guess theoretically it could be Big E, but
yeah.
Again,
Gunther.
Gunther with SmackDown? Yeah.
In
fact, Gunther's the right. He's probably the right guy to take it off of.
Technically, Jinder,
he's a former champ.
Yeah, he's a former champ, but we gave him crap for stuff before, but he is a former champ. And so he's definitely there. You've got Sheamus floating around on SmackDown, so he's definitely an option.
You got Shinsuke.
There. Shinsuke, yeah.
Former contender, not an actual former champion.
AJ. Kofi, former champion. Xavier really deserves a shot at the championship.
AJ Styles has won it,
But yeah.
So, there's a lot of ability. And again, the potential for Brock to be back.
Yeah. Trying to remember what all happened other than Cody versus The Miz.
Well, like I said,
Veer beat up Dominic some more, and I'm fine with that.
Literally sent a message that night and said, I don't care if this is all 3 hours of the show. I love watching Veer beat on Dominic.
Yep, just keep doing it. Do it. I do want to talk. One of the things from Raw I want to talk about because I think it's one of those things where, what the fuck are you doing, Raw? Because it made no sense. AJ Styles versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest kicks AJ Styles off the ring apron, then kneels in the center of the ring, and then the lights go blue. And he stares at the camera, and it goes to commercial, and then it just comes back, and the match is over.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It made no sense. Made no sense at all. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't get that. That just seems so silly, but. Ezekiel introducing himself to Tommaso Ciampa as Ezekiel, Elias's younger brother, and Tommaso just being like, "Yep, sounds right to me. I'll be there."
Yeah.
Austin Theory announcing he's just now Theory.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, other than that was for showmanship.
I had a theory on a theory. Theory. Pun intended. I had a theory on Friday. I think I might have talked about it.
You had it on Tuesday, that it was slinging back and forth with AEW. Because Cody's calling it wrestling, and they're internally making fun of the fact that they're.
And I think it's even more because he's making fun of. I think they're making fun of the fact that we made fun of them just shortening people's names. I think this is all about trolling the fans now. Although I will point out, since then it came out that on Friday Vince McMahon issued a memo to all wrestlers that says wrestlers will no longer be allowed to use their name that they used on the Independents or their real name. No word yet on whether that's going to affect everybody, like AJ Styles,
Who's already
Shinsuke
had.
Nakamura. But we have heard that like Casey Catanzaro in NXT is going to get her name changed because that's her real name. Reports that they're going to change Io Shirai's name.
Because they're just lowly NXTers.
Well, and like I said, it's all about marketing for Vince, and if he can't trademark your name, then he doesn't want it, But whatever. But that day when I heard that, I was like, oh god.
Whatever.
By the way, I do have 7 more packs to open at some point tonight, so.
Ooh.
Or maybe I'll just
Let's talk Moxley. Let's talk Moxley.
Talk Moxley after setting up Wheeler Yuta to be a star, then going off and being a star himself against Will Ospreay.
Yeah. The really cool part. So dude kicked out of a hidden blade, which is awesome. Of course, he had to hit Ospreay with 2 paradigm shifts. Also, at one point, hit Ospreay with the stomp.
It's the stomp.
Ospreay's troll Twitter came out and said, "You really thought you could beat me with your buddy's finisher? Come on."
Yeah, your buddy's pussy ass finish.
Is that what he said? Was it pussy ass?
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Great stuff.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff.
Those two can keep beating on each other forever.
And if they have the joint show, maybe we'll see it again. A rematch. Maybe there will be something on the line this time.
Maybe that's the predecessor to all of it.
Who knows? Trying to think on SmackDown, they have anything important happen? Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss split up.
Yeah, I think we saw that coming at some point.
Yeah. Lacey Evans is back still.
Solid moonsault still.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they asked us to rank. WWE asked us to rank the best moonsaults in the game, and I put hers above Charlotte's. So that's to say something, right?
It's something,
right? Sorry.
And of course, like I said, Dynamite was great with what happened there. Rampage, of course, had Hangman Page versus Adam Cole in a Texas death match. That was very good and brutal, and actually more brutal than I think they intended it to be. Because
Hangman and Adam Cole.
Yeah, Hangman Adam Cole. Because Hangman got busted open on his chin, was bleeding from the chin, and that wasn't intentional. I think that was entirely accidental there. But it was a great match all in all. Gun Club versus the Blackpool Combat Club. So of course Wheeler Yuta, Moxley, and Bryan Danielson, and this was another one of those ones designed to make Yuta look like a champ. That was great.
He just needs a little more help, just a little more time, just a little more regal.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. But here's the deal: is I don't think he actually needs more time. I think what he
I
needs,
think that's what they're trying to illustrate with it.
Mm-hmm. I think what he really needs is an edge to his gimmick. Because right now he still comes out and he's wearing like the neon best friend style, gear and stuff like that. And I think he's gonna have to come out in a more edgy gimmick at some point. But they had Ruby Soho versus Robin Renegade. That did feature an attempt at some twin magic.
Okay.
It didn't work. Ruby Soho still got the win, but
Ruby Soho.
You ever watch Botchamania? They've got a reoccurring
probably
segment
belong on there for my terrible singing there.
No, because Taz has that covered. They got a reoccurring segment of putting Taz's lyrics that he makes up to the Ruby Soho song up because he doesn't know the actual lyrics to the song. But anyways,
sounds good. Sounds like fun stuff.
It's really funny. It's because he just I think by now he's turned it into a bit, but when it first started, it was just I don't know the words to the song, so I'm just gonna Ruby Ruby Soho, Ruby 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 Soho, Ruby Soho, Ruby Ruby. Anyways, but no, Hangman Page ended up getting the win, and so solidifying himself as the champion over Adam Cole Bebe, which I think is really good for him because I think it allows Adam Cole Bebe to get a little bit more edgy, maybe do a little bit more with the breakup of the Young Bucks now. You guys didn't help me win, yada, 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 sort of thing. So, but that was just a ton of fun. And then, of course, like I said, we had Battle of the Belts on Saturday. 3 matches on it. Thunder Rosa defended against Nyla Rose. Scorpio Sky defended against Sammy Guevara. And the Ring of Honor champion Jonathan Gresham defended against Dalton Castle. And I was so excited because I love Dalton Castle. I think his gimmick is hilarious. That was a great main event there. But the starting match, the kickoff match to Battle of the Belts, was Scorpio Sky losing the belt back to Sammy Guevara, which actually surprised me.
That's faster movement than we would expect.
Yes, it's faster movement. I don't hate it. It just kind of surprised me. And I'm going to say I think it's playing out something that I was talking about on last week's show. I think they are pitching. They understand that pitching Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti together as America's favorite couple and all of that stuff, it's going to get the fans to turn on them because it featured Sammy Guevara winning with a low blow. He low blowed Scorpion Sky when he was distracted by the fighting between Ty and what's her face? Paige Van Zant. He low blows Scorpio Sky, and then he wins. And so he won with heel tactics. And so I think this is just the start of this edgier heel Sammy Guevara coming around, I think.
Sammy Guevara.
I just hope he brings back the, hey, you had a great match. I mean, I didn't see it, but I heard it.
But I heard, yeah.
But I heard it was a good match. So
yeah, it was. There's stories about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Did I get anything good with this first pack? I got Commander Aziz. I think I already had one of him.
It's not all that exciting.
I know I already had a Rick Boogs.
Boogs! I'm here to rock.
Sad Corbin.
Sad Corbin. Happy Corbin. Little ball of fur.
I think this might be, I don't know. I don't think I have the Sasha Banks yet.
For a second there, I thought that was an Asuka one. I was like, that's a terrible Asuka card.
Yeah, Asuka, she's getting beat up on her own card. Jonathan Gresham
WWE of them.
did successfully beat Dalton Castle. It was a really good match. It did feature kind of a weird ending. And I don't know if it was that like they had like a time limit that they realized they had to rush the ending or whatever, but it just kind of seemed a little bit weird. But then afterwards, one of the things we have to talk about is on Dynamite they had the debut of Satnam Singh. And it went kind of flat. And they, on Battle of the Belts, they brought him out in, I think, a better way. So on Dynamite, Satnam Singh came out after the main event. They did the whole lights out gimmick. Lights on Samoa Joe's in the ring, and Satnam Singh giant behind him. Now, Satnam Singh was a basketball player signed out of India in the 2015 NBA draft to, I think, the Dallas Mavericks, if I'm correct. Interesting thing, in 2017, he was announced to have signed with the Performance Center in WWE. And so he trained there for a while before getting let go. And since then, he's been training for AEW. Anyways, but it just, and even Tony Khan later admitted that he understands that the lights go out, lights come back on, who the fuck is this, doesn't work if you don't know who that guy is, right? It only works if you can see the guy in the ring and be like, oh my goodness, that's Samoa Joe or Kane or whoever. But Satnam Singh, nobody knew who he was. And Tony Khan said he wasn't the one who came up with the idea for that. Someone else did, but in the end, he greenlit it, so the buck stops at him, which I think is very
Eric Bischoff of him.
Well, yeah, and just commendable is what I was going to say.
That too.
Understanding that, in the end, whether something works or not, it still falls on your shoulders. Whether you made the original idea or not, you were the one who greenlit it. You're the one who let it go. Anyways, on Battle of the Belts, instead they had him come out with Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt like behind them as their big monster, and it looked so much better. Now it wasn't the debut; it was a re-debut, but it still looked so much better for them to come out with this monster and be like, "Go get him." Where you could see this guy come out. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's huge. He's freaking huge. He actually was kneeling when he grabbed Jonathan Gresham and hit Jonathan Gresham with a choke slam. And even kneeling, he was taller than Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah.
So
dude's a big dude.
He's huge. I mean, you're going to have to be if you're going to be the first NBA player signed out of India, but
yes.
He does unfortunately have a lot to, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot to overcome Big guys from India don't exactly have a stellar history in professional wrestling. And to get people to look past the Great Khali comparisons is going to be a tough thing for him. But if he's been training as long as he supposedly has been, and
If it's been successful training, that's also a big piece.
yeah, and the thing is, he did look like more rounded than Great Khali on Battle of the Belts. That's not saying a ton. It means he hit 3 moves instead of 2, you know. But that's still a 30% increase. So we'll take it.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
a 50% increase. It's a 33% value, but it's a 50% increase.
So I mean, we'll take it there, but it still was fun. And again, I just had fun with the Dalton Castle match. I think the boys are basically have been, in my opinion, one of the best little side features that Dalton Castle has, and it's effectively just uh, human version of what Brandon Cutler does for the Young Bucks. Instead of having cold spray, they've got the fans. But anytime Dalton Castle comes out, they just go over by him and they're fanning him. Cool down, cool down. So, but I mean, it's exciting. I like to see Dalton Castle back in the Ring of Honor thing. So I'm hoping they're working on some sort of an agreement for him in Ring of Honor. Reports have it that Gresham is officially signed to AEW, but currently the plan is for him to be exclusively on the Ring of Honor side of things.
Sounds like they're heading to a pretty solid Ring of Honor program then.
It does. It also it looks to me like, and I didn't expect anything else, right? But it looks to me like Tony Khan is trying to keep the heritage of Ring of Honor solid by bringing in as many people as he can that have Ring of Honor ties. You know, Samoa Joe, Dalton Castle, Jonathan Gresham. You know, and trying to keep those people. And so it doesn't look like he's just being like, "Hey, Ring of Honor is going to be my developmental. You know, I'm gonna throw all the AEW dark people on that and roll off." You know, it looks like he's actually treating it like a real premium product, and so
that's a
that
plus.
makes me happy. So, but yeah, no, it's been a crazy weekend for wrestling.
Yeah, it's been a crazy month. I mean, just from the start of the month, and then there was obviously everything that is WrestleMania week. You know, really not just with WWE, but WrestleCon goes on at the same time, and there was midgets in Kearney, Nebraska, and yeah.
Next pack.
Crazy.
Jackson Riker, no longer with the company. Charlotte Flair hitting Becky with the Boston Crab. Pretty sure I already have Xavier Woods. But I don't know if I had Otis yet.
You didn't have Odie?
I don't think so. I'll have to check. So far, no special cards, though, so that's a little disappointing. I'm trying to think if there was anything else like major news that happened in WWE or AEW this week. Not really. I mean, I guess I don't know. Do you have anything you specifically wanted to talk about, or is this going to end up being a super short episode?
No, all I really wanted to talk about was Mox and Ospreay, and you haven't seen it, so.
Well, you can still talk.
I don't know that you can talk any more than it was absolutely incredible. You know, to see, if you've ever seen Ospreay's Hidden Blade, which obviously you have, I'm sorry, obviously you have. um, it is a thing of beauty that you didn't see 10 years ago from Will Ospreay. You thought this guy's just going to be a whole bunch of flippy doos. And don't get me wrong. The very first time I watched an Ospreay match was the Ospreay match with Rey Mysterio, where he actually gave Rey one of his masks, or where Rey gave him one of his masks. They both did the superhero flippy doos to facing each other, and then with the superhero landing. You were there. You were at the event when that happened. We were watching on your television in Kearney, Nebraska. And I said, I wish you wouldn't do that. That's the only thing I wish you wouldn't do, because he's been really, really good from everything else we saw that day. Mm-hmm. And he was. This Ospreay is 700 times better than that guy was.
He's better. He's bulked up considerably.
Has a cooler moveset. Mm-hmm. And an improved moveset, maybe I should say.
He doesn't rely... Will Ospreay now doesn't look like a gymnast who happens to be in a wrestling ring. He looks like a wrestler.
He's a wrestler with gymnastic skills.
Mm-hmm. Jay Uso. I know I've got at least one of the Usos, but I don't know if it's Jay twice now.
And seeing him go up against Mox, who is a grit guy, in a grit match, that's a card to keep, buddy. Here's a question for you regarding him. How long does he hold on to both at the same time? Any predictions?
I mean, they obviously are going to have Cody have to work his way up to doing any sort of challenge.
Yeah, I feel like Cody has to go through another Miz bout and then obviously all of the Seth stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't think he'll get clean twice over Seth.
Yeah, maybe SummerSlam at the earliest.
Wrestle. Who was it that was Wrestle Talk? Maybe not Wrestle Talk now. Those guys suck. Wrestle Talk. Was that last one Raquel?
No, it's Sonya. And then Edge.
So anyway, they were predicting Cody to win the Money in the Bank to get his title shot, and I think it needs to be a lot cleaner myself.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be he earns his way up the card, and actually just earns a match, just flat out earns a match.
I mean, you can pigeonhole 6 or 7 matches between now and even Money in the Bank. I don't know. Have it beat Lashley in a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a schmoz. Lashley loses because Omos comes out. Continue to build that feud. Have him sneak one in over Kevin Owens. Because Owens is focused on Ezekiel. Oh, it's Danny Burch. I was like, is this Danny Burch or is this
he done?
Butch.
Yeah.
Butch.
No, it was Burch. I think I've already got Aaliyah once. So that's nothing.
It's a great picture.
Although
not a great wrestler.
This one is a Prism one, so it might be a special.
Specialty.
It's different on the back. Shoosh. And Indy
Hartwell.
But yeah, no, that's the deal. They I think they have them earn an actual match. Now it can be as simple as I challenge you, sort of a thing, right? But he has to beat enough people for Roman to be like, I accept, and not, no, you haven't earned a match yet.
Well, and I think you can play that.
Yeah, you can, but that's my point. Is for him to get the match, I think he's gonna have to beat enough people. Beating Seth, the one person that Roman has trouble beating, is a start, and definitely would can help. But there's others. But yeah, I mean, Roman can be like, you haven't beat anyone of note yet. And I beat Seth. Well, you beat him once. I beat him twice. You know. I beat Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. I mean,
Hold on,
he's
dude.
starting in some of those other. I beat all those guys. Yeah, and so have I. Is what it needs to almost be. I hate saying that. I hate to limit it to that, but
Here's one of your favorites.
hell yeah,
And
that dude's
geez,
ready for a main roster push too. I know that Vince is going to think he's too small, but
card back, way to make me excited and then bring me back down to earth.
oh,
This one's a fun one though. End with a Timothy Thatcher.
is he still with them?
No, I think he got let go in the last round.
He's so good.
I think. Well, find out.
He's good in a different sort of way.
The only problem I have with that card is he's on the alumni section on the WWE thing. It's not an action, it's just like him standing there. You know what I mean? And they sure could have, I mean, they have plenty of footage that they could have gotten one of him in some sort of, putting an ankle lock on someone or something. Yeah, it looks like in January he was released. Does bring up something for us to at least discuss a bit. The other day was the 2-year anniversary
of the first set
of the major releases. And I literally held my breath all day long after I'd realized that, going, are there going to be a bunch of releases coming?
And they didn't.
Yet. So, but in fairness, their roster is a lot slimmer now. They might not be able to do that sort of a cut right now.
What do you mean we can't do our traditional firings?
Happy to have this card. Good old Rhea.
Yes, indeed. We got were those back to back?
Back to back, yeah.
That's impressive.
A Cedric Alexander.
Underutilized.
And then this one's actually a really pretty card.
I can't, hold on. I have a pop-up that got, oh yeah. Historical.
So we're down to my last pack. And probably the last pack of these that I'm going to be able to buy, because I couldn't find any more. And my wife might cut me off on them. So here's hoping I get something really good. Well, starting off strong. Although I may already have had a Candice LeRae.
I think you did.
I still love Candice.
Are those pretty rigid, those cards?
Yeah, they're pretty strong feeling, so they're stout. I know I already had one of these, but I think this is the hollow variant of it. So.
Well, they definitely have that hollow plaid on it.
Yeah. A Uncrowned Greatness. Harley Race.
Yeah.
And the highlight of my entire collection.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know, but I didn't hate that pull. Sure would have been nice to have gotten a few other cards, but because I just realized I do have the uncrowned greatness of Lex Luger too. So now I have two Lex Lugers, an uncrowned greatness and a what is it WWE finest. I think it's what they call it. Survivor Series 1993. But so yeah, we did not have a bunch of releases this year so far, knock on wood. But like I say, I mean, you go to the WWE roster, and you don't. It ain't as full as it once was.
No. And I suppose that's okay.
Well, I mean, running a little leaner and meaner is probably for the best. I mean, there's some people on NXT they could probably cut, but frankly, they've already been cutting most of the ones, and I mean, I don't know what Eichner's gonna do, but he's stuck there, and I feel bad for Kushida in basically limbo there.
What feels like inappropriately in limbo.
Mm-hmm. Well, he unfortunately signed right at the tail end of what would be the good time for a signing like him, and now he's in the bad times where they're like, well, we don't want you. You're not what we're looking for anymore. But I look at the NXT roster and unfortunately, Kushida and Roderick Strong are two of the top names in my mind that might be on the cutting block. Eichner might be there as well. Unfortunately, Dexter Lumis might be on the chopping block. Because they're obviously... Well, yeah, because Dexter Lumis is older. What is he now? 38. He had his run on the Indies. He had his run in TNA. He was in TNA for...
Dexter Lumis is 38.
Yep.
That's mind-boggling.
Well, it's a little less mind-boggling when you remember he spent 10 years, not quite 10 years, 6 years in TNA in the early 2010s as Samuel Shaw. Before coming to NXT in 2019. So, he's got a lot of the indies in him, and I think that might come back to bite him.
And it does seem that that's kind of a thing for WWE.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty obviously aiming at younger and younger now. I mean, that's why Braun Breaker fits the mold of what they're wanting so well, is because He's right there at the age. And they can just hot shot him straight to superstardom. You know, he's 24. So if they make him a superstar, and I say make him a super, I mean, he is a superstar. I'm not trying to belittle what Braun Breaker can do. From point one, he was ready. But
yes.
But in the end, you know, he's 24. He's got a lot of time that he can be a champion for WWE, right?
Yes.
And someone like Dexter Lumis, you know, Vince McMahon is probably already counting the rings on his tree stump, going, I don't know, this might be better firewood.
I don't know. It sounds like Braun Breaker's coming up to the main roster too.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised to see him within a few weeks. He's still the NXT champion. And I think that might be about the only thing holding him back.
I'm astonished they didn't put that on Gunther before they brought him up. But
I'm both astonished and not. Like, I don't know. It seemed pretty clear to me from a relatively early time that WWE doesn't actually have a ton of faith in Gunther / Walter. And I mean, it's stupid.
even if you have Roman win, that is a match for Roman. Have Roman's chest just red with blast from that fucking chop.
Speaking of red with blast from that chop, holy cow, did you see Samoa Joe's chest after that Minoru Suzuki match? Now that's what I want to see. I want to see Suzuki versus Gunther.
In a chop off?
Just go at it. Just
chopping each other just left and right.
In fact, I'm going to see if they ever actually wrestled before. Minoru Suzuki cage match. Jesus, Suzuki's done over 2,200 matches.
Minoru Suzuki. My fella. Hell yeah.
Nope. Let's try doing this.
Ruby soul.
Ruby soul. You know, at one point, Walter wrestled under the name Big Van Walter. Or Big Daddy Walter.
Big Daddy Walter?
That's funny.
That's funny. That is very funny. Of course, I deeply enjoy Raquel Gonzalez being called Big Mommy Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very fun one for me.
And you mean Raquel Rodriguez.
Yes, sorry, Rodriguez now.
Because she can't use Gonzalez because that's her real last name.
Stupid.
Capital
the problem is, the big thing is, by not letting them do that, you don't get to have a claim at them later on either. When they get big, i.e. John Cena, whose real name is John Cena, you don't get to say, hey, you want to see those future stars?
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but the WWE has shown that they don't care. Just by the fact that
The Rock use The Rock sometimes.
Yeah, they tried to sue The Rock so that he couldn't use the name The Rock in his movies. unless they were the producer. So
It's dumb.
he's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It is dumb. It's dumb because, you know, this is the way they create the aura of the next superstar. Is, you know, they worked for us and now they're a superstar elsewhere. You should come work for us so that you can be a superstar.
And yes, I know Steve Austin is Steve Austin instead of Steve Williams everywhere he goes.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have been Steve Williams had there not been Dr. Death at the time.
He sure would have.
You know, Bret Hart is really Bret Hart. And it's not like it prevents wrestlers from going elsewhere, i.e., John Moxley,
Yep.
i.e., Bryan Danielson. What?
Yeah. I mean, and here's the deal. It's not like, yes, there may be some people who are naive enough in professional wrestling that they don't follow people, but the vast majority of people who watch professional wrestling, you show
Knew
up
that
and
the American Nightmare Cody was Cody Rhodes.
yeah,
It was also Stardust.
and more
We're not
specifically,
dumb.
knew that Bryan Danielson and Daniel Bryan are the same fucking person, right? It's not like, oh, AEW signed this new up and comer, Bryan Danielson.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Never seen him before.
Wow, he looks a lot like that one has-been,
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, who's not with WWE anymore.
But it can't be him. No.
Just can't be.
Couldn't be.
Who's this guy that's in WWE now with the long hair and the beard? He looks so much like AJ Styles. Wow, he even stole his name.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, if Vince McMahon of today was signing AJ Styles, he would have made him change his name. He would have said, you look like Billy Ray Cyrus, so we're going to call you Buddy Ray Gyrus.
He looks nothing like Billy Ray Cyrus.
He actually does look a little like Billy Ray Cyrus.
No, he doesn't. No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
he does.
No,
Yeah,
maybe
he does.
now.
Yeah, now, like modern Billy Ray Cyrus.
Vince doesn't know who Billy Ray Cyrus is.
Yeah, he does. That's Hannah Montana's dad.
You went to Hannah Montana. That's where you went.
Yeah.
Was Hannah Montana.
Mm-hmm. He's also that guy in that video with the gay black guy. He did that Old Towny Road.
You had to say Old Towny.
Vince had to say Old Towny.
It's a town.
Channeling Vince.
E. Oh, okay.
Channeling Vince.
Without the voice.
Yeah.
You could have given us a JBL voice or JLB voice.
I don't think my voice is strong enough to do a Vince McMahon. Yeah.
That's a better version of it than JLB.
Yeah. Don't you know?
Don't ya know?
Oh, don't you know? But anyways, it's just been a long week, and I'm fucking tired. So I apologize to any
me
fans
too.
who are watching, and we're not as exciting and in it as we normally are. It's been a long week, and with Easter and all that
you
shit.
know, JLB's not here to make fun of.
Yeah. I will say, in a totally un-wrestling related note, if you have Amazon Prime and you need something to watch, the Reacher show based on the Jack Reacher books, excellent.
I haven't seen it.
Excellent.
I do have Amazon Prime, but I'm really only keeping Netflix till I can see the end of Ozark, and then I think I'll be able to be done with that Netflix for a while. Take a break. There hasn't been really a great new Netflix series for a while.
Netflix, like, always pulls me back in.
Yeah, there's always something. Like, for you, for somebody that you and I both know, El Jefe, he was about ready to give up on it, and then he went with Umbrella Academy. And I tried, and I just couldn't get into Umbrella Academy.
I love Umbrella Academy, so that's one of them.
That's one of them that pulled you back in.
And my wife loves Stranger Things, and so Stranger Things is upcoming, and so that's going to be one that keeps us around for that.
The thing about Netflix is you can binge entire seasons of stuff and then quit for a while, and then come back and quit for a while.
Trying to see if there's something else coming up that's Netflix original that's going to be. But the Amazon Prime, the Reacher show, it's fucking great. It's
Amazon
brutal.
Prime is fantastic.
It's absolutely brutal. It's I don't know. Did you ever see the Jack Reacher movies with Tom Cruise? You're fine if you haven't, because you don't. This isn't related in any way, shape, or form, other than it's based off the same books. But it's a total reboot of the character.
Okay.
Right? Because here's the deal: people, the author was a big fan of the Tom Cruise movies and was involved with them. But he said he understood that the fans always disliked the fact that Tom Cruise played Jack Reacher in the books or in the movies, because in the books Jack Reacher is 6'5" and 300 pounds of solid muscle. I mean, and they literally talk in the books about like his hands being the size of pumpkins, or things like that. These giant mitts. And everything. And Tom Cruise is none of those.
No.
And so Tom Cruise played it off more like Jason Bourne, which is fine, because the character of Jack Reacher is a former United States soldier, and now he just kind of wanders America and sometimes gets into trouble and solves crimes, and so this one, they cast the guy. I knew him from Smallville because I'm a nerd and loved Smallville. A lot of people knew him from was it called The Guild? The one about fantasy football. The League. That's what it's called. The League.
Okay, yeah.
Alan Richson is his name, who is 6'2" in real life, and fucking built like a brick shit house now. So he fits the character a lot better. But it's like the fight scenes are brutal. The other battle scenes are brutal. It's really good. Good kind of murder mystery with a lot of brutal fight scenes and stuff in it. So I highly recommend it.
Okay.
I binged that over the course of the last 2 days. Like nonstop. When I wasn't, chasing my 4-year-old who was trying to find eggs on the ground. But I'm trying to think. Was there anything else wrestling related that we need to talk about this week? I don't think so. Coming up this week, some sort of a surprise announcement from Tony Khan on Wednesday. More of the same old from WWE on Monday and Friday. WWE just I get so frustrated with them because they come along and they pull off a WrestleMania like they did this year, and they make you go, yeah, these people can do it, and then they just kind of meh for a few weeks on Raw and all this stuff, and then I fully expect WWE WrestleMania Backlash it's going to be a decent pay-per-view, and I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, they can do it. And then they're just going to pee down their legs again. Like all I see happening there. So, but I suppose we'll just kind of wrap this up a little early this night, and
I'm
be
okay
back
with that.
on Tuesday and do some
Plus some fantasy
booking.
bookings. Hopefully, we'll be better rested. Hopefully, I won't have put in 70 hours in a week. And
hopefully, we'll have JLB here to make fun of. I mean, input some.
Input.
I doubt it. He'll probably have fallen asleep again. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up tonight a little earlier than we normally do. But thank anyone who joined us for the live stream. If you didn't join us for the live stream, we highly recommend you do it. It's on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook every Sunday night at 10:30 and Tuesday night at 10:30 Central. Otherwise, you can still find it on the replays. You can find it on the audio version like we always did. All of that's great. You can find links to all of the stuff in the doobly-doos down below. All our social medias, all our Patreons and all that stuff. That's a great way to support us on Patreon. Another great way to support us is the merch store, where you can buy the Pissant Podcast hat or a shirt like it, or a Raw and Order shirt, or the Sign My Shirt thing like he's wearing, or not wearing, but he's got hanging behind him. We don't have any Super Mario shirts. Nope, that's not our shirt. But the autograph signature shirt, like hanging behind D.A. Fabe right there, is an excellent one there. So if you find yourself going to an event where they're going to have a meet and greet, a WrestleCon or whatever, get yourself one of those shirts. They're wonderful for that. The link is in the doobly-doos for our spread shop, so you can get those there. You can follow me on any of the social medias at Raw and Order WBU, except for Facebook, where it's at Pissant Podcast, because Facebook is weird. I don't know. You can follow D.A. Fabe at
D.A. Vincent K. Fabe over. Now it's fucking moving right here.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there. Ah, shit.
Yep, now it's over there. Yep. Anyways, and then JLB doesn't get a shout out on where you can follow him because he didn't show up. So
fuck him.
Yeah.
Canada. All the Canadians should fuck him.
Yes, every single one.
He might be more than he's ever had a hope.
Anyways, but on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you soon.
Bye.